need cleaning?
No, like it has a haze behind me or
All right,
something.
we are live. Welcome back to another episode of Chiropractic is Sexy. I'm Dr. Paula Ruffin.
I'm Dr. Erica Peabody. Sorry I missed you last week, but we had a busy week and glad to be here today. And happy February.
Happy February. Yes, we're going to gain 70 minutes of daylight this month. So won't that be amazing?
Love that
Super
for
excited.
everybody.
Yes. And here in Michigan, we have had now, I think, 24 straight days of snow. So yeah, we're not messing around here. But let us know where you're from. How's the winter been treating you so far?
I hear another winter storm tomorrow, but you guys, I was in Florida last week and weekend and also weekend. And it was the coldest that Tampa has ever been. Like what?
They're having, it's record cold all along there.
Yeah. It was really wild. It was like coldest like ever in history. Like
which is creating more stress.
That was part of history.
Yes, there you go. It was part of history. Yes. I think all of it, everybody, in addition to just seasonal affective disorder in general, it's creating more stress because people are they're feeling like literally getting buried with the snow. Like they emotionally buried with the winter. And, that additional stress, that physiologic imbalance that's putting on everybody in addition to, I like the snow personally. I just don't like our single digit temperatures. So I'm okay with it snowing. But when it gets mucky and nasty, that's when my stress comes through. But but we're going to dive into it. We because today we're talking about dysregulation of the nervous system, like we do every week. But I thought this was interesting. This was something that I heard it somewhere. I listened to so many podcasts. I know Dr. Erica does too. But it was something to the effect that when people get stressed out, we adapt and we normalize it. And so your dysregulation becomes your regulation, and you don't recognize that you're constantly being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. Your body and your nervous system's job is to keep you safe. And so you actually start to feel safety in your chaos because it's what you know and it's what you've gotten used to. And I thought that was just like so crazy profound. Because how many people do you know that are just continually living in like high pressure stress? And they're like, I'm fine. Oh, I can handle that. And I'm running the kids to 1,200 places. And, people going through divorces or people dealing with husbands they want to divorce or, there's so much happening. And so we compartmentalize and we start to adapt around the dysregulation and then think that we've got it handled.
Well, the other part too is that in addition to that is as chiropractors, this is one of the main take homes last week is as chiropractors, we really help you be more you than ever before. So when Dr. Paula is talking about that, and she's talking about how the dysregulation becomes normalized, every adjustment starts to help regulate the nervous system, regulate the body. And therefore, I call it bandwidth, but we start to get more of an expansive and really, truly evolving view of not only ourselves, but the world around us. And we are able to then handle things so much better. And we've talked so many times about taking the rocks out of our backpack. So I put a backpack on and I want to carry around just enough to make sure that it's called eustress. Like we do want a certain amount of stress that gets us up and gets us going. And there's a reason for me to carry this backpack. But when I start to shove it full of rocks, of stress, of like Dr. Paul was talking about, like the kids and then the spouse, and then maybe what we're not doing that we should be doing, and then our health. And then on top of that, we're comfort eating and we're eating a bunch of crap, which this increases inflammation. And now I've stuffed my backpack that should be carrying around 12 pounds. I've stuffed it to 45 pounds and I'm carrying that around not only in life, but the torsion on the spine that's created from that. It is far too much. And then I wish that our world would quit waiting for a breakdown to actually make that breakthrough where that's an inappropriate amount of stress. That's an inappropriate amount of rocks that I'm carrying. And what can I do to offload some of this? And one of them is making sure that you're adjusted on a regular basis. They talk vagus nerve and vagal tone as this like new fad kind of thing. And you can do breath work for this and you can do
We've been
blah,
talking
blah.
that for 150 years.
Yes, exactly. We've been talking vagal tone since the beginning of chiropractic in 1895. That's where this all started. Actually, it started from a deaf man regained his hearing, but his body was under so much stress. You give it an adjustment, does vagal tone, and off to the healing you go. So yes, it is not a new topic for us. It's nice that it's forefront. It's very fad. It's been here all along. Get your behind to the chiropractor, please.
Well, and something you just said too, I was talking to somebody this morning. I had an early morning meeting, and it was a networking meeting. So she had asked me what I did. And I said, I'm a chiropractor. I also practice functional medicine. And she said, oh my God, she said, a chiropractor saved my life. And we hear this often.
Love that.
And I said, oh my God, do tell. And she said, she finally found a chiropractor who also did functional medicine. And she said, but it wasn't until after she got into a health crisis. But this very common thing about we're keep loading the rocks. Now, this is a person that was, I don't know too much of her back history, but kind of searching for answers, but didn't have the resources to ultimately take her down that holistic path until she finally did. And I was telling her, I said, how sad is that we are still this underutilized and under referred to science, art, healing art, whatever you want to call us, when we should be that first thing.
Yeah.
And why is it that people have to get to a disastrous, catastrophic health crisis before they finally get to the chiropractor? And then they're like, oh my God, I wish I would have known about this 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And I think that's just what we're trying to prevent is that, and obviously we talk about the same things over and over. We know that, but we want to come to you with these different topics to get you to think about them from different angles. Maybe you don't see yourself or a friend or a spouse in the subject as it is reported, let's say in last week's episode, but maybe you see somebody in this week's episode, somebody just super minimizing their stuff because they haven't been able to find answers. And so then they're like, oh, it's okay. I have the normal amount of headaches. What is that?
Right.
I get that so often.
Absolutely. I have a patient who I can see he's coming in on a schedule on Saturday, and he's been here for, actually, I do kind of want to know how many years, probably 15 years at this point. And when he first came to me, he had a headache for 20 years. Let's see. His first visit was 2017. So we're going on 9 years together, 240 visits. He came to me and he had a headache for 20 years, you guys. And he just called it, I just have a normal headache, for 20 years. And 3 visits later, not that that's what it takes for every headache to go away, but like it's kind of just like, that's a really simple symptom to start to work with. And so to go from 20-year headache as somebody who's on the computer all day long to having relief from that, from what is called a normal headache, we don't call any of that stuff normal. That is our body's check engine light getting our attention. I just had a patient in here that hasn't been in 16 years. In 2010, in January 2010 was his last visit. And his wife's been coming all along, but he just, finally is making time for it because quite frankly, he's like, oh, something finally set me off and I can't move my neck. I'm like, this isn't just like this morning. I get it that the symptom was just this morning, but this is a culmination of everything you're always doing. He was also on a computer job forever, had an hour-long commute one way. So both ways, 2 hours in the car. Plus, once you get to the job, is sitting long hours there. And it's like all of this, the body keeps score. And if we please, please, please get a chiropractor as part of your healthcare team and keep it that way. Period.
Period. Drop the
End of
mic.
story.
Well, let's talk about what that does too. 20 years of headache or, anything. People who deal with, let's say people have chronic eczema. Those are low lying levels of stress. This is, you're not running from that saber-toothed tiger, but he's walking and he's kind of looking at you and he's salivating and you still don't feel safe. Your body, when it doesn't feel safe, it won't heal. And when you have pain like that, the body doesn't feel safe. So it puts you're in this low grade fight or flight. And it changes everything metabolically. It changes your blood sugar. It increases inflammation. It changes your heart rate. It changes how your gut functions. It changes the bacteria in your gut. It changes your sleep, your mood. So when your body is like, hey, we're not safe. And people do this for years. And I have a good friend who's getting out of a 20-year very bad marriage. Well, the day the divorce is final doesn't mean that those 20 years gets wiped away. That fight or flight has been long standing. So the body's going to take time to heal. It has to have time to heal beyond that long standing trauma. Mm-hmm. And so those low level stressors like that, we have to pay attention to it. We cannot minimize it anymore because it's going to put you into a health crisis.
Well, I was just thinking too. So, we have patients in our offices that have joint replacements. Over the years, they have gone down a path long enough that they have joint replacements. So, not that that's what we're looking for, but it does happen. And so somebody gets a knee replaced. And then they think like 3 months later, they're supposed to be feeling good. And 6 months later, they're supposed to be feeling really good. And a year later, they're supposed to be like perfect. Well, in order to lead up to that joint replacement to begin with, that's months, years, decades, who knows, of an altered gait. Guess how long that's going to sit in the system? Like we talk this all the time, body keeps score, it keeps score, it keeps score, it keeps score of everything we're doing. It keeps score of everything we're not doing that we should be doing. It's just all of that. And so I was just thinking about these last couple of patients that we're in, and I haven't seen him in 16 years. And he's like, oh, I've lost 30 pounds since Thanksgiving. And I asked him how he did it. And I think, we could just actually make a pretty good guess at how he did it. And it's like, okay. And I talked to another one yesterday, same thing. And he's like, I would love to give you that I found the perfect thing for me, but I've been doing some of the GLP-1s. And I'm like, this is awesome because you're feeling better, and use this as a bridge. So if you're not changing the rest of that. And so I'm watching these people make these changes without actually making these changes. And I'm happy to help, and I'm going to talk about it. But then also, like, there are no actual shortcuts. And if there were an actual shortcut, it wouldn't be called a shortcut. It would actually just be the way. So just know that as Dr. Paul and I are talking to you every week, it's not that we're perfect. I traveled last weekend. I had a little more alcohol because I was hanging with colleagues and some different situations and scenarios. And then I'm like, I know, as soon I'm drinking bone broth today, I feel great. But guess what? This is going to be the nourishment that I want in my cells to make sure that my February feels amazing, that I drop all the rest of the inflammation that I gathered from just the stress of travel alone. And so it's when we have these things going on, our brain is flooding our body with those stress chemicals, and we can't do any kind of healing in that way.
Well, and think about that when you just said the stress of travel. So this is just so common. Again, so many people, and I have one patient in particular who said to me a few weeks ago, she's like, but I'm not stressed. you just don't think you're stressed. I think this is where this today's topic inspired me a little bit, was that it's that minimizing does not help your case. And then she came in a week later and she's like, oh, I feel terrible, and my back's hurting, and my this and my that, and I'm stressed and I'm not sleeping. And I'm like, okay, well, you were just not stressed, but
Right.
now suddenly you have all these things going on. So it's really paying attention to the path forward,
Mhm.
and how do we, how do we make sure that we are laying that good groundwork, that we're just constantly, because we're streaming also from It's All About the Biology. How do we continue to make sure we're getting, nourishing the soil, right?
Yeah,
The
for sure.
foundation, and making sure that we have all the good nutrients so that our body has the opportunity to heal, but not just from food. It literally does have to come from breath work and proper sleep. And all of that plays a part. I,
Mhm.
Dr. Eric and I have a challenge to do videos every day on our social media. So one of mine, I think I did it yesterday or the day before. Didn't sleep well. It was up for like an hour and a half. I watched TV. I don't know why I couldn't sleep, but I get this little puff under my eye, and my video, and I don't like it. I'm self-conscious of it. I know it means that I didn't sleep. I know it means I'm inflamed. But I wasn't feeling well. So I think it was more that, like, I hadn't been eating like crap or anything like that. But the bottom line is, I turned the camera on my face and I was like, here's proof that lack of sleep causes inflammation
Mhm.
right there. And I drew attention to this thing that I hate, that I feel like people stare at it. So I'm like, okay, here it is. Okay, I'm bringing, but it like, shit happens even when
Mhm.
you don't think that you're doing anything to cause it. So the metabolic cascade that takes place, even when you don't think that it's happening, it's
Mhm.
there, you guys. So pay attention.
Right. So I had a patient in yesterday and she came and used our infrared sauna. So I have an infrared sauna at the building here. She came and used it after her adjustment. It was probably Wednesday afternoon last week. And she was so excited to get into it. And yesterday I saw her again. She came back because I'm seeing most patients are once a week or once every other week, or they're either once every other week, once a week, or twice a week. That's like a good majority of everybody who I see. And so that patient, she said, when I was in there, it felt so amazing. It felt like it was getting deep into my tissues. And she said, but I didn't sweat as much as I thought I was going to. And I'm like, oh, so interesting. I said, usually that's a sign of dehydration. And she said, well, as I was finishing my work that day, I made sure that I drank a bunch of water that day. And I got to tell you guys, like, that's an interesting way to look at it. But you got to drink water for 2 weeks before you're actually start to get hydrated. You have to have like a 2 week increment of actually drinking water before your cells are like, oh, cool. Like, let's actually take some of this water up. People say, I hate drinking more water because I'm peeing all the time. And your kidneys need 2 weeks to adjust to that. But I can tell you,
You're
one
supposed
day,
to.
yeah, one day of drinking a lot of water because you're going to get into a sauna that afternoon. That's one way to do it. But the second way to do it is just always be hydrated. Like, like ABH, always be hydrating. I think we need to just do like a new tagline with that, ABH.
Uh-huh.
But it was like, that's a really interesting way, but it's not really how the body works. It's not, it goes in one side and it comes out the other. It goes in, it gets processed through the stomach, goes through the intestines, it goes out into the blood, and then it gets filtered by the liver, and then it gets filtered into the kidneys, and then the kidneys take it down to the bladder. And like all of this beautiful orchestration of things, like it's not like it goes in and goes right out your sweat glands. Like it doesn't work like that. It's an accumulation effect. And so it was like, okay, it to me, all that said was that I need to focus and make sure that people know that it's way more than just hydrating one day. I had a patient reach out over socials. It was a few months back, and they're like, oh my gosh, doc, I drank this water. And, I got like whatever, close to 70 ounces of water that day. And I said, congratulations, start again.
Uh-huh. Right.
Get
Right.
going again. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
But get going again. Like we don't ever get to stop.
Every day. Well,
Every day.
because the thing is, it's not like it doesn't come out.
Yeah.
And, you know,
And plus your
and
body needs it.
water is critical for binding toxins to get
Mhm.
out of the body. So your body needs that water. I have so many neurodegenerative clients these days, and one of them does not drink water, drinks like a cup of coffee in the morning, a sparkling water, and um, and a beer every night. It's like his thing, but no water, none. And the
Well,
question
well,
was,
Doc, what about LaCroix? Doesn't that help with hydration?
well, so yeah. So the wife asked, can he just get his water through drinking sparkling water? I said, no,
No.
it's highly acidic. Like, I don't
Mhm.
mind one, there's still problems. And then it's a can and it's plastic and it's all that. Like that was a conversation I was not ready to go into with them. But I said, no, just water, just water.
Just
Just get
water
a
with
mason
water.
jar and fill it
Yeah.
and just water.
Yeah.
Like, why is that so hard for people? And I'm saying that in general, not necessarily. He was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I'm fine, I can drink more water. But also not recognizing too that coffee is a diuretic. So coffee forces your body to flush more water. So we don't, and then if there's more toxins in the body, it causes you to flush more water. So, or you might retain water for diluting the toxins. Like water is an interesting beast in that when we do body composition testing, we see a lot of people are holding on to too much water. So they're inflamed, but their cells are dehydrated. And they'll often say to me, they're like, how can I drink so much water? How can I be dehydrated? And I'm like, your cells are dehydrated. Your body's retaining fluid and it's pulling from the cell because you're so highly toxic. It needs fluid to bind those toxins and get
Yeah.
out.
Protect itself.
So you're dehydrated in one spot and inflamed in the other. And this is what like diuretic drugs do, is they just flush what's in the extracellular space, which then pulls more fluid from inside the cells. So everybody who's on a diuretic has raisin-like cells. And no wonder they're exhausted. Like they age much faster. And, it's just a horrible way to think about getting fluid off of the body.
Yeah, and when you take what's called a water pill, I don't even know what that drug is anymore, but when you take a water pill, it's so interesting because those that are taking water pills have so much inflammation built up on the body, like just
Mhm.
looking at them. And of course, they're trying to like protect the heart and kidneys and all of those things. So whatever the MD, wanted them to be on it for, whatever that reason is, they're some of the heavier, most inflamed people. And it's not helping.
No,
It's not
this
helping at
this
all.
patient of mine, she's also another no chronic disembarkment syndrome. She floats. She feels like she constantly got off a ship.
Mm.
I've had her on a mild detox since October, late October. Like I think she started almost November 1st. She's lost, and we measure this. She's lost 15 pounds total. Seven of it was fat. 7.5 was water. And she's got a cardiovascular issue. So her doctor wants to put her on some heart medication that she doesn't want to go on. And so I'm going to send him a report about this. And she's going to talk to him on Monday and say, hey, if I just keep doing this,
Yeah.
can we maybe reassess in 3 to 6 months? But you guys, 7 pounds of fluid was flushed out of her body, and the fluid was actually moving back into her cells, which means toxins are coming out. Her body chemistry is regulating properly, like just metabolically, the stress inside her body.
Yeah.
Like she's a very happy-go-lucky person, and she's retired and she's got a happy life. So she could potentially say she doesn't have stress, but having this disembarkment thing, that's
Right.
constant stress. So it's a
Right.
constant underlying stress. So we're working hard to, to help people like that so that they don't have to go on drugs that then cause more issues for them.
Well, and my curiosity with that case in particular is, okay, she's going to take that information to her MD, and we can all assume this MD would have some sort of idea of what that is. And quite frankly, you guys, they have what probably wouldn't know what that report is, how to read it, what it even means. And we're the ones out here. I'm doing our second coffee talk. It's going to be Monday next week. And it's like, I had a patient come yesterday and they're like, nobody is talking to us about the things. And when I go into my MD, they don't have anything except for drugs, radiation, and surgery anyway. And so they're like, thank you for even offering us the opportunity to sit with a healthcare provider, have coffee, and talk about health in a very casual, structured, but very casual way with a ton of background into eating well, moving the body, positive, mindset, drinking your water, getting your rest, and getting adjusted, which are the 6 pillars of what make us healthy anyway. Let's actually sit down, bring your questions, and let's talk about it, because nobody is. And I would be curious if that doc would, I'm curious what that doc will say to her.
Well, I have to his credit, she's already seen him once, and I already sent him a first report. I haven't sent him this updated one yet. Yeah. And he told her, he said, wow, whatever you're doing with her, keep doing it.
Yes.
So bravo to him. So he's open to the conversation. And so that's why I told her, I said, I'm going to send him regular updates on your health, because, that's what you want. We want medical doctors who are, and I don't want him to just say, wow, that's great, keep doing it. I want him to know what I'm doing so he can understand that I might be able to help him. I can help him in many other ways with his patients that he can't. Right. So that's really what that is, having them be open to that.
Yep. I remember back in 2020, there was this statement from our state association that says, the medical association in our state reached out to the chiropractic association and said, if you can stay in practice safely and you can tend to musculoskeletal issues, headaches, low back pain, neck pain, and all of that stuff, please do, because we need to tend to the emergency cases and we need space to be able to do that. Now, I don't know why that didn't just follow us from 2020 forward to 2026 now, which when you show up to an emergency room, an urgent care, or your primary care facility, why they don't say, go see a chiropractor first. Mm-hmm. We are busy saving lives in ways that the chiropractors can't, because we don't do surgery. We don't do
the medical doctors,
those things, right? Mm-hmm. But if we can stay in practice safely to keep people from the emergency room and urgent care, why are we not still that first line of defense for absolutely everybody that walks in for those things? Have you been to the chiropractor yet? No. Mm-hmm. Go to the chiropractor, get out of our office. I have blah, blah, blah. Have you been to the chiropractor yet? No. Go to the chiropractor, get out of our office, bring it back when you're dying. Everything else is here. People say, well, where's the nutritionist here in town? Right here. Right here. Where is the blah, blah, blah in town? Right here. Mm-hmm. Who is the expert in neurological patterning, neurology? Who is the expert in the infant care, pregnancy care, kids, ADD, ADHD, asthma, allergies? She's right here. This is it. What about neck pain, headaches? What about joint pain, knee pain? You're here. This is where you should be. And you guys can tell I'm a little bit like itchy, scratchy about it, but I'm done. We're right here. This is where you want to be, and get yourself to a chiropractor. I don't care who's listening right now. Do it.
And let's not wait until a crisis hits. That's the whole thing. You're absolutely right. That should be the first line of defense
every time.
It's malpractice if medicine is allowing patients to get to health crisis because they can't help them, because they don't know about chiropractic, or they do know about chiropractors. They don't know about chiropractic, but they won't refer. And that is malpractice, because I recognize when I need to send a patient to their
Right.
medical doctor or to the emergency room.
Absolutely.
You know, in all my years, I've called an ambulance twice. I mean, it hasn't been often, but twice. But we know when someone needs care outside of our scope. And I would love to see the medical profession start to have that same level of, you know, dropping the arrogance, and that somehow we're stealing something from them.
Right.
You know, this is about the people, all hands on deck.
Well, if we just look at the logic behind some of the remedies, so let's just say you went in and got a steroid shot, like you're not actually allowed to get another steroid shot for 3 to 6 months. And there's a reason for that. It's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. You can't do that regularly to the body.
Yeah. But then but people don't even know. They don't even know what that is. Like, they're like, oh, okay. They just don't take that seriously. Like,
Or
think
they're
about
taking
that.
Yeah, they're taking a medication. You have to go back every 3 months to get your liver numbers tested. Because guess what? It's not safe.
Oh my gosh. She is on fire today.
Everybody just better watch out. No, but it's the logic that's what I love about our profession.
Logic?
It's based on logic. It's based on logic that the body works better with a nerve, with a proper nerve supply. That's the best part. It's just, we're just working really hard to get that logic. It is trickling down. I mean, even when I look back, I'm excited to have this coffee talk on Monday, because our first one was the day after the pyramid flipped on its head. And things are trickling down, that it's not okay to just do blah, blah, blah. And it's not okay to whatever it is. And it's fun, because people are starting to get more along the lines of, let's get to the chiropractor first, more along the lines of, what am I eating, more along the lines of, what am I doing with my body, than ever before, is what I'm seeing. And that's why I'm like, you know what, I'm going to take this and I'm going to just light a fire right underneath it. And
I love it.
Yeah.
So, a great service to the community.
Yeah. It's our moral obligation. That's the other part. It is our moral obligation to make sure that people really know a whole lot more about what's happening in here. I'm grateful for this avenue and angle to take.
I love it. I think we should end that on Dr. Erica's crash out. I think that was perfect. It is 1:35. And so with that, I want to just remind everybody, whatever channel you're coming in from, it's all about the biology, any of Dr. Erica's channels, my channel, Dr. Paula Ruffin, please go, and Facebook. We're kind of all over. So we're everywhere. So make sure that you're liking, you're leaving a nice comment, you're subscribing and sharing this, because this is the stuff that people need. This is the life-changing information that people need to be hearing. And we just want to keep showing up for you guys. So appreciate you guys showing up for us. I will see you Sunday for Sunday Night Live, and then we'll be back here next Thursday.
Yeah, thank you for all your comments. I am unable to comment on my side ever, but just know that we see you, all of you out there. So thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Thanks, you guys. See ya.